Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a business coach, Will Lofton. Will has recently just kind of graduated from corporate job to a business coach and is impacting many businesses already because he found a way how he can help you to increase your business, not working in your business, working on your business. In and on has a huge difference on your ROI. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Bill Lofton. Bill, welcome.
Thank you, Siddique. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Bill, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into a business coaching after a corporate career?
Sure. So for the last 6 years, I worked, as you said, more of a corporate gig, corporate job, selling leadership, coaching, and consulting to what I would say are accidental small business owners. And so over the course of about 6 years, I really got, I would say, a lot of vision for what's possible, really in America today with entrepreneurial opportunities. But we would see men and women come that were maybe hadn't been, adequately trained on running a business, or they were accidental business owners and they just woke up and they were in charge of, 5 or 10 or 15 employees, but they didn't really have a plan to grow, or they didn't have a plan on how to communicate with their employees well. And they would apply just 2 or 3 sound practices from these events that I sold access to. And over the course of several years, we saw some really major changes in their business. And so that was exciting. A couple other things really, resulted in me going off on my own. The other is I read the book about 4 years ago, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And the thing that he said that struck me is, the goal is not to just find a stable 40-hour-a-week job and just hang out until you retire. But his thing is more, your goal is to maximize revenue in the shortest possible time frame.
Yeah.
And so my mindset started shifting to how can I make more money in less time? And then the third factor, I have a daughter that we've adopted from overseas that has some medical needs. And so when the pandemic hit last summer, I quickly realized I needed to find, more of a work from home opportunity. And my former employer was gracious and they understood, and they were even encouraging about it. And so all those factors sort of led to me launching this last fall, so in September. And so I've been enjoying working with small business owners ever since.
Wonderful. So you are a business coach. And are you ready for the direct questions? And I want the clarity answers because people who watch this show, they love clear answers. Okay. Are you
okay?
You promise? Okay, let's go for it.
Sure.
What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
I'd say for the small business owners that I work with and that I've seen, the top 3 things that throw them off. Number 1 is they're working in the business all the time and on it very little. And when they do that, they're missing opportunities to growth. The thing that they are looking to bring them freedom ultimately often enslaves them without the time and the margin to work on building it, to work on growing it, to work on playing offense. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would say the thing that I see that a lot of small business owners struggle with is they assume if an employee needs help from them, that the employee will ask. And they don't often proactively set time aside to coach their employee, to mentor their employee, or to help their employee performance improve. So that's number 2, is assuming the employee will ask for help instead of proactively providing the time for them. And then number 3, I would say is a fear of addressing performance issues. I think everybody in their mind sort of has this score that they're keeping about, am I doing a good job? Am I doing a bad job? And employees are asking those questions. And if you're not addressing that with your employee in a direct way, you're not only hurting your business, you're undermining their own development and their ability to bring value to the marketplace. So those are the 3 things I would say: is working in the business instead of on it, assuming if an employee needs help that they'll ask for it, and then refusing to address performance issues with employees. That's what I see.
Wonderful. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Yeah, so the one that I thought of for this, since, like I said, I've been doing this 6 months, so I don't have a ton yet in business, but it's personal and it relates to business, if that makes sense. So just kind of stay with me in this. But it's actually more of a parenting story. I have 3 daughters. So 3 girls, like I said, 2 are biological, 1 was adopted. And early on, I grew up in I would say, basically a conservative Christian home. I grew up in the South, in the Bible Belt, and where the male is the authority, and sort of I say, you do kind of thing. And I still do believe that in some ways, but the way that was carried out at times was not always helpful. And so, but that was kind of my MO in parenting with my oldest daughter. And after we adopted our middle daughter from China, one of the things that we were challenged with is that kids that come from a background with trauma or abandonment or some kind of difficulty in their background, that method often backfires with a child like that. And so I was part of at a church, part of a Sunday school class that really challenged us to focus on connection precedes correction, and that if you're not building trust with your child or with your daughter, you're not going to be able to speak into and help change their behavior, but you've got to do it from a place of connection and trust. And so one night after dinner or during dinner, my oldest daughter started asking questions about, Dad, the way you parent me and the way you parent my sister is different. It feels unfair, right? Like you did it, used corporal punishment with me, but you don't use that with her. It just feels unjust. It just feels not right. And she was going through some stuff at the time. And then over the course of a few minutes, she started getting really angry, and so much that she blew up and left the table and all this. And so I went in and talked to her about it. And I just tried to calmly listen. So whereas the old me would get really mad if someone would, speak aggressively or in anger, I just calmly listened. I restated what she was saying. I didn't try to correct or change, and let her share everything she was sharing. And then finally, when she got to the bottom of it, she said, Dad, actually, I think when you parented me in the old way, I obeyed you out of fear. But now, since you use this new way, I obey you out of love. And so that's not to toot my own horn. I'm certainly not a perfect father. I'm a work in progress like anyone else. But what I've seen and what I've learned through that is that oftentimes it works the same way with all my kids now. We focus on connection before we focus on correction. But in many ways, I've seen that with employers where they just are, here's the rules, here's what you do. And if you need me, ask me for help. Instead of focus on building connection, increasing their communication, having trust in place, and helping their employees grow and get better. So connection precedes correction. I think it's not only parenting, but I think it's good business as well.
Wonderful. That's amazing. I learned a lot from you. Well, so however, we are greedy. We want to learn more, so we keep going. What are the top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Yeah, so just really kind of the flip side, right, of the mistakes. I'd say definitely number 1, from day 1, you have to carve out time to work on the business in addition to working in it. If you never work on it, you're going to get buried. So I would say some questions to think about around that is, if you're a business owner right now with employees, where do you want to see your business, say, just a year out? Like, what's your desired outcome? I don't love the word. I mean, goals are often overused. Goals are good, but what is it that you desire? What is it you most want? And then a follow-up question to that to help you, know how to order your time would be, what's the one thing you as the business owner do best that moves the business forward most succinctly or most quickly? And then how much of your time in a given week are you doing that thing? It could be sales. It could be networking. It could be coaching your employees. It could be any number of things. And I know as a small business owner, there's a lot to juggle, but what's the one thing that you do best? And then are you setting yourself up for success with doing that on a regular basis? The second thing I would say, have a plan for communication with your employees. Most business owners get so busy and buried that they make no time or space, like I said, to proactively coach the employees, or they don't have visibility into what's going on with the employees. So I would say have a plan for communication. Every employee on your payroll right now ought to know how their salary makes the company 3, 4, 5x what you're paying them. If they don't know that, then I would say you need to slow down and do your job more clearly so they know what is expected from your investment in their payroll. So looking at that, I would also highly recommend, if you don't have a regular one-to-one meeting on the calendar with your employee, at least once a month, maybe twice a month, people just need you to ask them, How are you doing? What are you working on? And how can I help you be more effective? And that'll give you as the owner a lot more insight into where their pain points are, their struggles are, and it will help you coach them and help move them ahead. And you're going to assume that they know things that are in your head that they don't know. And so it helps clear some of that up as well. There's several things you can do, but those are two things to help with communication. The last thing I would say is become a coach instead of a boss. Most business owners are more of a boss. I say you do instead of a coach. And I want you to become a coach instead of a boss. So those are the three things I've got.
Become a coach instead of a boss.
Yes, sir.
Well, you are not as good as you think. You are better. I can tell you because I learned a number of new things from you right in this interview.
Okay,
so,
great.
Yeah, so far already. It's great.
Good.
We are about to get into a lightning round. With that meaning quick question and 10-second answer. Very quick answer. Okay.
Okay.
So what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful that I live in a place where if I need to start a business coaching company from home, I have the freedom to just go for it and do it. And I get to serve business owners every day that need my help. So I love it.
How young are you?
46 years old.
Oh my God. You are 18 years old and plus rest is all experience. I'm just telling you right now.
Sounds good.
Okay. What you want to do when you grow up?
I feel like I'm doing it. I feel like my mission is to awaken small business owners to the opportunity that exists when they have a purpose, a mission, a strategy, and a team that is aligned around that. And so I'm doing what I want to do. I just want to do more of that in front of more people.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
The first thing I try to do when something hard hits, is I reject the lies that it can't be overcome. And I basically write out 3 to 5 key questions that I need to answer to overcome it. And then I try to find a few people that I can interview that have been through that life experience and overcome it and ask them those questions.
Wonderful. How do you start your day?
Usually I start with prayer and scripture reading, and then I'll read maybe something for personal development. And then I try to knock out sales or offensive related things to grow the business first thing in the morning.
Very smart. What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
I would say, relax your grip. Trust that you're going to have what you need in the future, and that life really only happens when you relax, enjoy the process.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
It's not hard to convince my wife. She's usually like, let's do it yesterday. She's already on board. I have to convince my mind. I'm hyper analytical, or I can be too analytical, right? So paralysis analysis can restrict me. But the things that I try to do is I look at what is the market opportunity, how closely does it align with my vision and my mission and my gifts and my strengths? Is there an opportunity for recurring revenue with this idea, or is it just a one and done? And then how excited do I get about it? Is it a drain on my energy, or does it give me energy?
Wonderful. What is the impactful book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I read a lot. I try to read constantly. The one that I read most recently is a book by a guy named Phil Vischer. It's called Me, Myself, and Bob. And if you've ever watched any of the movies or the shows Veggie Tales, that was pretty popular 15 or 20 years ago, this is the story about how he launched the company and how it was massively successful. And then it basically overnight tanked, and he more or less went bankrupt or went out of business through a series of unfortunate incidents. What I learned from it is that when you are the founder and when you start a company, you have to reject the lie that you need to bring in an expert that is smarter than you to take your vision into the future. When you start a business, you're the expert. And so you have to trust that you will have what you need. You have to grow and you have to change, but you have to rely on your own expertise to grow it. And that was some of the mistakes that he was very open about making and learning from through that whole debacle.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Because people that have invested in me have had a massive impact in my own life. Spiritually, have had a major impact spiritually, emotionally, relationally, in every way. And so I know I've experienced firsthand the benefits of having others' lives impact me. And so I want to offer that to other people as well. Just give back in response to what I've received.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
Currently, I don't have a business mentor currently, but one guy that really has helped me over my life is a guy named Mark Oglesby. He's a friend of mine from Texas, out in Arlington, Texas. And his impact on my life over the course of 15 or 20 years now has been tremendous. Spiritually, number one, he's really helped ground me spiritually in my relationship with God. But in addition to that, I don't even know that I would be married today if I hadn't had his input and his wife's input into our marriage. But more than that, he's really called me to be a man of integrity, that has purpose, that seeks to give more than I take in the marketplace and in all the relationships that I encounter. But he has modeled that for me, and so he's given me a good example of how to give that to others.
Wonderful. What do you want to be remembered for?
Encouragement.
Who is your ideal client?
I'm mainly looking for someone, I would say, that's an accidental business owner, 5 to 20 employees. They're doing a few million up to 6, 8, 10 million in annual gross revenue. And they've got the pain points that I've been talking about. They're working in the business all the time instead of on it. Or it feels like their team members are taking them sideways and they want to create more of an ownership mentality in the team. And they feel like the business is running them instead of them running the business. And they need infrastructure so that they can play offense and grow.
How can we support you?
Yeah, so if there is anyone listening that fits those, you can go to loftoncoaching.com to check out more of me, or you can, if you fit any of those buckets or those categories that I mentioned, I'm going to do probably up to 5 free assessments, like a free 30-minute coaching call. You can go to loftoncoaching.com and then just fill out the contact us form and put assessment in the contact us form, and I'll get with you to schedule a free 30-minute call on several different areas of your business and try to give you some tips to grow and get it to the place that you want it to be. It's 100% free, and I'd love to work with you if you have a business with employees and some of those pain points are real in your world right now.
Wonderful. We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have you a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is the question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
Yeah, it was great. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be on and to share and to speak, but also really appreciate how clear you are about setting expectations about how it's going to go and basically helping me to prepare and bring my best. So it was a great experience.
Thank you for your kind words. What would you say as a final word?
I think my challenge to everyone who is self-employed or who owns a business, isolation is a killer. So if you're a small business owner, you're working late at night, you're working early in the morning, you have a lot of head noise going on, especially in the age of the pandemic, I would challenge you to find other business owners who are working through those same challenges, get together with them informally, find a mentor, find a coach, find a networking group, someplace that you can get the noise out of your head, that you can allow others to help you carry the burden of that, and get some other fresh ideas besides the noise that's in your own head. Because I have seen isolation will kill like no other. And so I would challenge you to remove yourself from isolation and get the help and input that you need.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Will Lofton, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you.